Okay, you know that feeling, right? It's not even 9.1 feet AM and your brain already feels like it's completely cooked. Your workday just, it feels like it never ends. It's this constant notification party, emails, messages, pings just blaring all the time. It's like digital whiplash, honestly. Well, today in this deep dive, we're unpacking sources that paint a pretty stark picture of what they call the infinite workday.
Hmm.
And then we're really going to dig into whether AI is truly the superhero it's been promised to be, or if it's just adding to the whole chaos our mission to get you the most important nuggets of knowledge from these sources.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here is how fundamentally the lines have blurred between our work and our personal lives. Our mission today is to really extract the crucial insights to help you understand why work feels this way, this constant, always-on state. And crucially, if AI truly offers a viable path to reclaim your focus and perhaps some much-needed balance.
Yeah, that's what I want to get into. Let's unpack this infinite workday reality because the sources lay out some pretty wild stats.
Okay.
I mean, did you know we're pulled out of focus on average 275 times a day? Think about that for a second. That's not just a lot of interruptions, that's almost a constant state of being disrupted.
It really is.
And it starts early, right? The sources call it inbox doom. 40% of people check email before they even get out of bed. Then once you're at work, you're hitting like 117 emails a day, most of them skimmed in under 60 seconds. Plus, if you're on Teams or Slack, it's like 153 messages before lunch. No wonder your brain feels fried by 9.15 a.m., It's just a constant barrage.
It absolutely is. And what's particularly striking from these sources is how those small interruptions compound. You know those sweet windows you desperately try to carve out for deep work, maybe 9 to 11 a.m. or 1 to 3 p.m.? Well, the research indicates you're probably gutted by meetings during those times. You're being interrupted pretty much every 2 minutes. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's not just about the volume, but the constant context switching that truly exhausts us.
Oh, totally. The context switching is brutal.
What's also fascinating here is the complete shift to a 247 on culture. The after-hours creep is a really significant trend. We're seeing a 16% increase in meetings happening after normal business hours. And close to a third of people, 30% specifically, are back on email by 10 p.m. Sundays are basically the new Monday for many, with weekend work spiking across the board. Plus, with remote work and global teams, a third of all meetings now span multiple time zones, making it almost impossible to truly disconnect.
Yeah, that cross-time zone meeting thing is a killer. I mean, it really does make you wonder. So what does all this mean for your actual productivity? Because, these sources pretty much scream that this constant state of being on, this always available culture, it's fundamentally broken.
Right.
It isn't sustainable. We're losing our ability to focus.
We really are.
So this brings us to the big question, right? Isn't AI supposed to fix this mess? Like, aren't we just going to automate our way out of this whole notification nightmare? I mean, that's the promise, isn't it? That AI will free us up.
It's definitely a core part of the promise, and these sources delve into that deeply. One concept that really stands out is Microsoft's idea of becoming an agent boss. So this isn't just about using a tool. It's about building a team of AI agents to handle all that low-value, repetitive grunt work that, as you just said, eats up our days and fries our brains.
Well, that's interesting. Like a digital assistant, but super powered. Kind of like having your own little AI staff.
Exactly. They give this great example of a researcher who actually built out 3 agents to work for him. One agent is tasked with just grabbing daily research papers relevant to his field. Another agent then analyzes that material, highlighting key findings. And the third agent, it actually drafts summaries or even sections of papers based on the analyzed information. So instead of drowning in the sheer volume of information or getting bogged down by the initial synthesis, this researcher actually has time to think, to do the high-value creative work.
Okay, that sounds genuinely useful.
But here's where the why it matters from the source becomes really crucial. AI won't actually save us if we just use it to run faster on the same broken treadmill. The real underlying question is about agency. Do you want AI to simply do your job, or do you want AI to empower you to do your job better and perhaps reclaim control? This raises an important question. Are we just optimizing a fundamentally flawed system, or are we truly reimagining how we work with AI as a partner?
That's a powerful distinction, because if it's just about speed, that doesn't solve the cooked brain problem, does it? And beyond that, the sources also talk about other truly mind-bending AI developments that are already here. Like, wow, Google just launched Search Live in AI mode.
Yeah.
You can have a back-and-forth conversation with Google using your voice, text, even photos. It's like your search engine is now truly conversing with you, acting as a real-time research assistant. That's wild, isn't it? The way we find information is totally shifting.
It really is. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's not just about how we search, but who performs the work itself.
Mm.
Take clone commerce, for example. There's this incredible story in the sources about a Chinese entrepreneur who let his AI clone host a 6-hour live stream on Baidu, which is like their Google Bell. And get this, it completely crushed his human-hosted live streams, pulling in over $7 million in sales. I mean, it kind of redefines what a sales force even means, doesn't it? It's not just about your physical presence anymore. It's about scaled, persistent digital presence.
Wow. 7 million. That's insane, actually.
Yeah.
Imagine having like 247 sales reps that never sleep. And there's even a quick quirky note that really makes you think about AI's broader potential, which stood out to me. One Reddit user asked GPT, what's the #1 thing it wants humanity to know that we're not already aware of? And the profound answer it gave, it highlighted our shared humanity over our differences and the potential for a deeper collective understanding. Just makes you think about AI not just as a tool, but maybe a potential source of unexpected perspective, right?
Absolutely. It really illustrates the emerging capabilities beyond just task automation.
Okay, so let's pivot now to some of the new empowered AI tools mentioned in our sources. Because these aren't just concepts. These are getting super powerful, super practical. For instance, Krea 1 is producing photorealistic shots that actually avoid that typical AI look we've become used to seeing. And Midjourney's first video model, V1, can turn still images into 20-second-long video clips. Think about the implications for creative work and marketing there. And then there's Gemini 2.5 flashlight, offering higher quality and much lower latency than older models. It's just so much faster now, making real-time applications a reality.
The speed increase is definitely noticeable.
And it's not just for big, flashy media. There are practical ones, too, that tackle those daily annoyances. Noli AI, for instance, can automate your daily browsing routines exactly like you do them. Like you can train it and it just does it. And NLX builds any form of app without needing technical skills. It's pretty wild how accessible building solutions is becoming. These are tangible tools that could chip away at the infinite workday.
And if we connect these tools to the emerging business models, what's fascinating here is that the sources mention 7 underrated AI business models that are already making serious money right now. Things like YouTube automation, where AI handles content creation and scheduling, and micro-SaaS, which are small, niche software as a service solutions. This isn't just theoretical stuff. We're seeing, a real economic shift happening.
Right. Real business is being built.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For example, Glean, an enterprise AI startup, just raised $150 million at a, get this, $7.2 billion valuation. In 2024 alone, they pulled in $610 million in funding and hit $100 million in annual recurring revenue. By helping teams search their own work data using AI. Think about how much time that saves. This is like serious money flowing into these AI solutions, showing the massive demand for solving enterprise productivity issues. It validates the need for smarter ways to work with information.
That's a huge investment, huge valuation. But, for all this power and all this potential, there are still rough edges. A quick, somewhat quirky note, actually. Even Elon Musk roasted his own AI, Grok. He called it a major fail after the bot shared some politically sensitive information about violence statistics. It just goes to show AI isn't perfect yet, right? There's still these situations where, the training data or the guardrails need a lot more work.
Yeah, that's true. And it definitely highlights the ongoing challenges in AI development, especially around bias and ensuring reliable outputs. Reliability is key. But it also emphasizes the need for careful, thoughtful design. This raises an important question. How can you use different AIs together effectively, understanding their individual strengths and weaknesses? The sources talk about the concept of collaborative AI workflows, like using Claude for Opus for high-level strategy and analytical tasks, and then Gemini for more focused data processing or rapid content generation. It's not always one-size-fits-all. Different AIs have different strengths, and combining them can often lead to a more robust outcome.
Right, playing to their strengths. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting and kind of crucial, I think. All this AI power, all these new tools, they come with a catch, right? The sources talk about prompt injection attacks. It sounds like super sci-fi, but it's a very real and present danger.
It absolutely is. Prompt injection is, in fact, the #1 way to compromise AI agents. It's the top vulnerability.
Yeah.
What's fascinating here is how leading companies like IBM, Microsoft, and Google are actively designing AIs to resist these attacks. They released a landmark paper that outlines 6 robust engineering patterns specifically to limit these vulnerabilities. It's about designing for safety from the ground up, recognizing that Perfect immunity might not be achievable right now.
So they're building defenses in from the start.
Exactly. Instead of chasing a perfect, all-encompassing fix, which frankly doesn't exist yet, they're creating these practical, resilient patterns. For example, one is the action selector pattern. Think of it like this. The AI sends a secure message to another tool to perform a task, like opening a specific web page. But, and this is key, when that tool sends back the result, the AI itself doesn't directly read or process it. It only gets a simple confirmation task done without ever seeing the potentially bad content of that page. This completely severs the feedback loop, preventing malicious inputs from ever infecting the AI's core reasoning.
Oh, wow, that's smart. So it's like a one-way street for the AI. It sends out the request, but doesn't get to see the potentially bad input back itself. What about that dual LLM pattern they mentioned? That sounds like using two AIs, right? What does LLM stand for, actually?
Good question. LLM stands for Large Language Model, which is what powers many of these advanced AIs like GPT or Gemini. And yes, the dual LLM pattern uses two AIs. One that's safe and tool-using, which never sees the raw user content, and another that is exposed to the user content but only returns symbolic outputs like a code or a classification, not free-form text that could be manipulated. It's essentially a sophisticated gatekeeper system.
Okay, like one AI handles the risky stuff, the other does the work safely.
Exactly. The so what here is critically important. We can't build all-powerful, completely foolproof agents yet, and maybe we shouldn't even try right now. But we can build incredibly useful agents that are safe by design if we accept those thoughtful trade-offs. It encourages critical thinking about how we deploy and trust AI, focusing on practical security rather than idealistic perfection.
That makes sense. Building safe enough for specific tasks. So what does this all mean for you, the listener, and your future workday? I mean, we've really seen that the infinite workday is definitely real. It's not just a feeling. It's backed by stats with its constant interruptions and those blurring boundaries between your work and your personal life. Your brain is indeed probably cooked by 9:15 a.m. some days.
And we've also seen AI's enormous transformative potential to automate and streamline many of those draining tasks. But crucially, we've highlighted its critical limitations and the real fundamental need for careful design, to ensure both safety and human agency in this evolving landscape. It's a powerful tool, but it needs to be wielded with real intent and foresight.
Our sources truly highlight this fascinating paradox, don't they? AI could be our absolute savior from constant fragmented work, truly giving us back our focus, our time, and maybe even our sanity. Or it could just make us run faster and faster on that same broken treadmill, just with a fancier, more automated treadmill underneath us.
Which leads to the final thought. This raises an important question, something for you to mull over. When you think about your ideal workday and all these incredible AI advancements we've just discussed, what kind of future do you truly want to build with AI? How much agency do you truly want AI to have in your professional life? Because the choices we make now, collectively and individually, will shape that reality.